All right, so we're diving deep today into something I think we can all relate to.
Yeah,
Keeping those AC bills under control.
absolutely.
Who doesn't love a nice, cool house in the summer?
Right.
But nobody loves seeing that energy bill spike,
No, not at all.
especially these days.
Especially these days, that's right.
So you guys sent in a bunch of great tips and tricks for how to save on AC costs.
Lots of good stuff out
So
there.
we're going to dig into that.
Yeah, and you know what I think is so interesting is that little changes,
Yeah.
little things can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to unpack some of that.
Okay, so first up,
Yeah,
filters.
filters.
I feel like this is, it's basic, but
But life gets busy,
it does.
and sometimes they don't get changed as often as they should.
Well, and I think there's a kind of out of sight, out of mind element to it.
You know, it's not something you see every day, so you kind of forget about it.
Yeah. And, I saw one of the articles you sent,
Okay.
and it was talking about how a clogged filter,
Oh, yeah.
it's basically like throwing money away
It is.
because your system's working so much harder.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
imagine you're trying to breathe through like a really thick scarf.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening to your AC unit.
Your poor AC is suffocating.
It is. It's suffocating.
Yeah.
And so it has to run longer.
Yeah.
And it's using more energy to try to push the air through.
And then you sent some stuff about
Yes.
MRV rating.
Your ratings. Okay. So
Can be-
this is getting a little nerdy.
It is with
That's
filters.
what I
But I think
think it's good information.
it's important.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little...
Yeah, so basically a MRV rating is telling you how effectively your filter is trapping particles.
Okay.
So the higher the MRV rating, the better the filtration.
Okay.
So like a basic fiberglass filter, you know, the kind that,
Yeah.
kind of the fruity ones, might
Yeah.
have a rating of like 1 to 4,
Okay.
but which is fine for like basic dust.
Okay.
But if you've got allergies,
Right.
if you've got pets, if you want to trap pollen, pet dander, even smoke, you're going to look at a MRV rating of like 8 or above.
Okay, so does that mean that I should just go by the highest?
That's a great question, and a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
But not necessarily, because the higher the MRV rating
Yeah.
also means more resistance to airflow.
Okay.
So if your system is not designed for it,
Right.
having that super dense filter can actually make things worse.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like trying to,
Yeah.
push thick syrup through a coffee filter.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
It's going to get clogged up.
It's going to get all clogged up. So it's important to check your
Yeah.
AC manual or talk to a technician
Okay.
and find out what the optimal MRV rating is for your system.
So it's a balance.
It's a balance, yeah.
All right. Moving on from filters, let's talk about
Okay.
the thermostat.
The thermostat, yes.
You sent this really interesting article
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the myth of like cranking the AC down
Oh, yeah.
super low to cool your house faster.
Yeah. I think we've all done that at
Yeah.
some point.
Like come home on a hot day and you're just like,
Yeah, just crank it down.
yeah, make it freezing.
Yeah. It doesn't quite work that way, though.
It doesn't. And this is kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
flooring the gas pedal in your car.
It is, exactly.
Like you think you're going to get there faster.
Right. You think you're going to get there faster, but you're just burning more fuel.
You're just burning more fuel and it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
actually
but-
work that way.
And your AC unit has a set cooling capacity.
Right.
So even if you set it to like 60 degrees, it's not going to magically freeze the room
Right.
in 2 seconds.
It's just going to keep running.
It's going to run longer trying to reach that temperature,
Right.
which means you're using more energy
Yeah.
and you're going to have a higher bill.
Okay, so what's the happy medium?
The happy medium is finding that sweet spot
Okay.
where you're comfortable and your AC unit isn't working over time.
Okay.
And that's where I think programmable thermostats are fantastic.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Because you can set it
Yeah.
to warm up a little bit when you're at work and
Yeah.
then cool down before you get home.
Yeah. And even a few degrees can make a big difference.
Even a few degrees, like you said,
Right.
can make a noticeable impact
Okay.
on your energy usage.
Now you sent some information about AC units being like
Oh, yes.
the wrong size
Yes.
for space.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So this is a really common issue, and a lot of people don't realize that this can be a huge culprit for inefficient cooling and wasted energy.
Okay.
So if you have an oversized unit, it's going to cool the space down really quickly, but then it's going to shut off
Okay.
before it has a chance to properly dehumidify the air.
Okay.
And this constant on and off cycling,
Yeah.
it's called short cycling,
Okay.
wastes a ton of energy.
Okay.
It also puts a lot of extra wear and tear on your system.
So it's like using a
Yeah.
fire hose to water a tiny little plant.
Exactly. Too much force, not enough control.
And I imagine if it's too small, then it's like trying to
It is.
water a giant tree with like a watering can.
Exactly. An undersized unit is going to struggle to keep up. It's going to run constantly, and it's never really going to reach the desired temperature.
Right.
So both scenarios, bad news.
Yeah.
For your comfort and your energy bills.
So this is a good reminder to get a professional assessment.
Absolutely.
To make sure you
can do a proper load calculation.
Right.
And figure out exactly what size unit you need for your space.
Yeah, okay.
To avoid those costly sizing snafus.
Okay, moving on to maintenance.
Maintenance, yes.
This is another one of those things where it's like, we know we should do it.
Yeah.
But we don't always.
Exactly.
So why is it so important?
Well, think of it like taking your car in.
Right.
For an oil change.
Right.
Or a regular checkup.
Right.
It might seem like an unnecessary expense at the time.
Right.
But you're preventing major breakdowns down the road.
Right.
Same thing with your AC unit.
Okay.
So a qualified technician is going to come in. They're going to clean the coils.
Yeah.
Check the refrigerant levels.
Okay.
They're going to inspect all the electrical components, make sure everything is running smoothly.
Right.
And that way they can catch any potential issues before they turn into big, expensive emergencies.
So it's like preventative care.
Preventative care, exactly.
Not just waiting till something breaks.
Right, because it's a lot less stressful to
Yeah.
have it taken care of ahead of time.
Absolutely. And probably less expensive.
And probably less expensive than waiting for it to break down in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last but not least, let's talk about leaks.
Leaks.
But we're not talking about water leaks.
Not water leaks, no.
We're talking about air leaks.
Air leaks.
Around doors and windows.
Yeah.
And these could really sneak up on you because they're not always obvious.
Right.
But they can make your AC work so much harder.
So is it like trying to inflate a tire with a hole in it?
Exactly.
You're constantly losing air?
You're losing air, and in this case, you're losing cool air.
Right.
Which means you're wasting energy.
Yeah.
Because your AC has to work harder to compensate.
And you had some really good tips about how to...
Simple things.
Yeah.
You can do yourself.
Yeah.
Like checking the weather stripping, caulking any gaps.
Right.
Even just making sure your curtains are closed during the hottest part of the day.
Right. That can make a difference.
Those little things can add up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
We talked about filters.
We
talked about thermostats.
Yes.
Making sure your AC unit is the right size. Maintenance.
And leaks.
Leaks.
Yes.
5 key areas.
5 key areas.
That I think can make...
That can add up.
A really big difference.
A big difference in your energy bill. And you know what else?
What's that?
Your environmental impact.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Because the more efficiently your AC is running,
right,
the less energy you're using,
right,
which is good for the planet.
Yeah, and I think that's something to think about going forward.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we balance our need for comfort?
Right, because we want to be comfortable,
yeah,
especially as the climate changes,
right,
and it's getting hotter.
Yeah.
It's finding that balance between,
comfort
and responsibility.
And responsibility
to the planet.
That's a good point.
Yes.
So this has been a great deep dive.
It has.
I hope you guys learned
Me too.
some good tips and tricks
I hope so.
that you can put into practice.
Absolutely. Go forth and save some energy.
And save some money.
Be comfortable.
And be comfortable.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.